Hi guys. It is a very, very cold day today. It's about 5 degrees with the wind chill. My glasses are fogging up a little bit. Thought I'd come out and do some tracking, see what kind of tracks I can find today in the fresh snow. But while out here in the woods, I wanted to talk about a topic that interests me like no other, and that is the missing 411 cases. Over the years, I have been watching a lot of the cases, and they're baffling, as they are to everybody, including David Pilates. Very, very baffling as far as what happens to these people. I have my own theories, but they're just theories. I'm not so sure that cases such as the 411 cases will ever be solved. I don't know. It seems like something is happening that humans just don't understand. However, as you listen to the cases and the similarities that the cases have, I think it's fair to say, for the ones that have never been found, that something is taking these people. How it's doing it, I don't know. But I believe these people are being taken by something. Now, when you think about that, something taking a person that is venturing into the woods, whether they're camping, they're hiking, going hunting, whatever, something in the woods that could be out there to take them. Now, when I think of that, I try to think of all possibilities. There's so much about this world that we don't understand, we don't know. And I would not put it past there being some type of group or task force, for lack of a better term, that the government would have to take people. I would not put it past the government to do something like that, especially if they need somebody to do testing on and do it against their will and then just discard of them when they're done. But that's just one of many of the theories that I have, because if you look in history, the government has tested even on its own people. That is a known fact. That's something you guys can research yourself. The government has tested on its own people. It has tested on others. So would it be outside of the realm of possibilities? No, I don't think so. Now, if you were dealing with something more on a paranormal level, crossing a creek right here, something more on a paranormal level, I would assume to believe, based on some people's eyewitness testimony, about seeing a thing in the woods that represented like a cellophane creature, like saran wrap. It was clear, they could see through it, kind of like that movie Predator, which I often wonder if that movie isn't based on actual events because of this thing that people have seen. Maybe that movie's based on testimonies from people that claim they've seen this thing. But it moves from trees to trees. And I've heard of one YouTuber that I've been following for a long, long time. He mentioned seeing this thing while on a camping trip on a mountain. And it's exactly the same description as what a female bow hunter gave when she saw this thing from her deer stand. And I know that I've had a personal experience where I met up with something that I could not see, yet it was there and present with me. As I walked a dirt road back in 1989, I talked about that story. So could it be one of the same things? I don't know. I don't know. That's the problem. There's too much that we don't know. I think I'll venture down this way. But I do believe that when the people go missing and there is an extensive search done, And even tracking dogs can't pick up a trace. There's no evidence of the person ever being there. They don't find any personal belongings. They're nowhere to be found. They searched the entire area and beyond outside of the search grid. And there's absolutely no evidence of a person. Now, some of the people have been found sometimes months or even a year later or 2 years later. And they're found in an area where it had already been extensively searched multiple times. And then right where the area had been searched, the person and some of their belongings, if not all their belongings, have been found. Other times, the person wasn't found, but some of their belongings were. So, another theory that I have is that something is causing these people to make mental decisions, to do things that are outside of their personal character. Mind-altering decisions that make them go in directions they otherwise wouldn't go. To do things they otherwise wouldn't do. I say this because there was a case where a young man was working on a logging crew, and he was up on the landing of the logging area where they bring the logs to load on the trucks. He had a handheld walkie-talkie in his hand. There was several other co-workers around where this young man was on this landing, and they were looking at him and watching him, and he just abruptly dropped the walkie-talkie and bolted as fast as he could run straight into the woods, right into the thick of the woods, and he was never seen from again. What would make a young man that has got outdoors experience, works for a logging company, to just drop his walkie-talkie and just bolt straight into the woods without ever looking back, without ever making a sound, to just run into the woods? That's where I come up with a theory of mind control, something that makes these people come to it instead of it coming to the people. But the ones that just disappear, you know, and a lot of people have this same theory that they're picked up. That they're picked up by what? Who knows? I mean, could it be aliens? A lot of people don't believe in aliens, but could it be some type of entity not of this world that can come and go from this world and take people as they wish? A long time ago, I talked about a theory, or I talked about a situation that is really true if you think about it. In this world, there is multiple worlds within this world. This is not just one world. It may seem like one world just to us, but in actuality, there's multiple worlds. I gotta unzip this thing, you guys. It's driving me crazy. Hold on. There is multiple worlds within this world. Now think about a lake, a pond, a river, or a stream. There are species that live underwater, and that is their world. We can't live in their world, and they can't live in ours. They can't come up out of the water and breathe oxygen like we breathe oxygen and dwell upon dry land. That's the difference between the underwater world and the above water world. And then you got the things that are nocturnal that only come out at night and sleep during the daytime, like now, and vice versa. So there's different worlds within this world. But if you think about fishing a stream or a pond or a river, okay, and there's fish in it, let's use a pond as a perfect example. When I caught that big largemouth out of the pond over here across from my house, he supposedly is the biggest bass in that pond. Once I was told that that big bass was in there, I thought, I'm going to catch him. And I tied on a lure and I went over and I did. Within 15 minutes, I had that fish. I got it on video. Now, if he's the biggest fish in the pond, all the other fish are going to know about this predatory bass, right? He's going to be chasing the smaller fish and harassing them constantly, right? Minnows, small sunfish, small little perch, so on and so forth. He's a predator. Now, when I caught that fish, I temporarily removed him from the pond. Had I kept him and took him home and filleted him and cooked him, those fish in that pond would have never seen that bass again. Those fish would have wondered, where did that big bass go that used to chase us every day into the lily pads? Where did he go? Where did he go? But you see, fish don't know the world that exists outside of their world because they're confined to the pond, they're confined to the lake, they're confined to the river. They can't come out of the water and explore on land and see what is all out there. So they only know their world, just like we only know our world, but we still don't fully understand it. What if something is coming here and taking us the same way that we do as fishermen take fish? And then the fish say, where did that big bass go? He harassed us every day and now he's gone. Where did he go? He's nowhere to be found. There's no carcass laying on the bottom of the pond. They just never see him again. They don't know a fisherman came like me, came and took him, caught him and removed him from his environment, his habitat, his home. So this is why I think that when people go missing in the woods, something is coming here, dwelling here. And the reason why it's existing in the woods versus like a highly populated town or city, which people do go missing even in towns and cities. But the reason why it dwells in the woods is I think it's because it's opportunistic. It knows that if it hides in the woods, it's got all kinds of camouflage. It's less apt to be seen. It waits for a victim to come along. It decides it's going to take that victim, and then voila, you're never seen again. So just exactly what are we dealing with? Could it be something like that, that invisible predator? Could it be aliens? Could it be a stealth group from the federal government that is just harvesting certain individuals to do testing on against their will and then get rid of them and no one ever knows that a crime was ever committed? I mean, you got to have an open mind to all kinds of stuff, but I will tell you this. It appears that going into the woods armed with a firearm, like a lot of people tell me, because I don't go into the woods with a firearm, I take large knives with me, and I'm not the only one that does that. But a lot of these people that went missing and were never seen or heard from again had firearms, rifles, shotguns, pistols, right on their side hip. So if you got a firearm and you still can go missing and no trace of you, no gunshots were heard being fired off, like 3 warning shots, signaling for help, hunter in distress. If you don't have any of that, then what's the deal? Then it seems like that these people still are unable to defend themselves, unable to do anything about whatever it is that's causing them to go missing. And a lot of these people are super experienced outdoorsmen. I mean, they're not just some yahoo that decided one day to leave the city and then go on a hike for the first time in their life in the woods. These are people that have spent decades in the woods like myself, people that have got outdoors experience, people that know how to use knives and bows and guns and how to do survival and how to start fires and how to read the land and watch weather conditions and know their limits and what they can do and what they can't do. So, so if it's happening to people like that, as well as being fully armed, sounds to me like you run across whatever's doing this, your chances of getting out of that situation are pretty slim to none. And that is what concerns me, because I personally live in one of the hot spots that's on that map for hot spots of missing 411 cases. If you look on the map, Western New York and Northwestern Pennsylvania is in a big red circle. And yes, we've got unsolved cases here of where people went missing, a lot of them in the woods. I went trout fishing one day in my canoe, and that day that I was in my canoe trout fishing, they had a search team out looking for a woman's dad. Her and her dad went hiking into the woods just for a short day hike. They somehow got separated, and her dad was never found. He was never heard from ever again. And I'll never forget that day, because I was out in my canoe as that was happening. They were searching the very forest of where I was fishing. And I followed up on the news with the story and paid attention to it. And yeah, so they never found them. And so who knows, you guys? So it does even happen right around here. And so it does concern me, because I do a lot of everything I do in the outdoors by myself. Just like right now, I'm out here in the woods by myself. I've only got a camera. And it can happen right from your campsite. I mean, if something is capable of taking you from the woods, being on a trail, I don't see why it wouldn't be capable of taking you right from your campsite. So even if you're vehicle camping or tent camping or trailer camping on a site, it actually has happened. It happened with a child that went missing from inside a camper. and the camper was locked for the night. They were in the camper for the night to go to sleep, and one of the kids went missing from inside the trailer, and that kid was never found. So it is disturbing. So that tells me that all the things that I do in the outdoors, that am I at risk? You better believe I'm at risk. But it's so hard to make sense of what's happening to these people, other than something, whatever you want to think of it being, something without a doubt is removing these people from the woods. And that's why there's no trace. That's why a lot of times there's no remains found. There's no article of clothing. There's no outdoor gear found, like backpacks. And then on the ones where the gear is found, sometimes the body, if it is found, isn't found until a long time later, long after the items are found. And usually the items are found miles apart. Like first they'll find the shoes, then miles, away they'll find a backpack, and they'll find contents of the backpack. So very, very bizarre. But I do know that there's things in this world that we can't explain. But think about that fishing example I gave you, that when you remove a fish from a pond, the other fish don't know what happened to that fish. So do I think that something could come to this earth from outside of this earth that's beyond what we can see, and be able to take humans as they seem fit, and just take somebody for whatever reason? Maybe they want to do DNA testing on them. Maybe they want to do some kind of crossbreeding with some other being or something to create like a hybrid being. I know that's a long shot, but I've got an open up enough mind to where who the hell knows what's possible in this world and in the universe out there, and all the other galaxies and the planets, and what's beyond our blue sky that we can't see with the naked eye, I mean, when they look at planetary systems from gigantic telescopes and stuff, and they got all these satellites out there, and they get these weird signals that come from somewhere else, and they can't explain it. I mean, it really makes you wonder just what is possible out there. But I do know one thing: going into the woods, there's really no way to protect against it, as far as I know. I've been trying to think about what could people do to really protect against this phenomenon from happening, to protect themselves. And I really don't have an answer to that yet, but I've been thinking, because it could happen on a short hike, it can happen on a long hike, it can literally happen anywhere. Some people even gone missing right out of their own backyard. It's happened to farmers, missing right out of their own backyard, never heard or seen from again. So, I don't know, you guys. Really don't know what to think. That water's a little bit deep. These boots are great, by the way. Love them. Kamik boots. K-A-M-I-K. Kamik. Very good boots, very warm. So I don't know, you guys. Give me your thoughts down below, and you tell me. There's that tree that's bent around like a bridal arch, and it's stuck in the ground, both ends. Both ends. Very bizarre. I also have experienced weird things in the woods, and that's why I'm going back to Pineapple Junction this year to do more investigating. I wanted to tell you guys about something that happened at Pineapple Junction that I haven't told you yet. And not only did I have the tree knocks, and then that thing that circled my camp that night, but during that day, same day, but during the daytime, and it was probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I had just got done fixing lunch. And when I was standing at my campsite, I was tending to my campfire. Because when I'm camping, I always have a fire going, day or night, don't matter. I always got a fire going, so if I want to heat up water or cook something, it's burning, it's ready to go. But I was standing at my campsite just like this. I'm looking down at I got a poker stick, and I'm looking down at my fire, and I heard something off to my right. Crashing and running through the woods at full speed. Something heavy enough and big enough to be making a lot of noise, and I heard it coming. And mind you, this is on a steep grade. This is a very steep hill. It's a drop off right after my campsite. So it's coming uphill, coming my way, but crossing the hill as it climbs it at an angle, not straight up the hill. So it's coming, and it's making all kinds of noise, and it's crashing. And I'm thinking it's a deer that got spooked, and it's in full run. And so I'm standing and I'm watching, and I'm looking like this, and I'm trying to look through the trees and past the trees, because there's an awful lot of undergrowth. And I started, as it got closer, I started to get glimpses of it, and it was jet black as this glove. But it was small, like a pit bull. So then I started to think, okay, it's a black lab. It's a dog. It's a black lab. But then as I got to watching it, as it was coming closer to me, and then it started to go more sideways, and I was getting glimpses of its back and its shoulders area, I realized it wasn't a lab. It was more short-haired, like a pit bull. So then I was thinking, okay, well, it's a pit bull. Don't know of a black pit bull, but that's what I thought it was. And I'm right near a dirt road that goes through the camp. And it was just getting ready to come out into the road. So I took a couple steps over like this, and I'm looking, and this thing's probably only maybe 50 feet from me. That's it. At the furthest point, 50 feet. And I'm looking right at it, and it's still running as fast as this thing can move. And I mean, it was moving. It was running fast. And just as it got to where it was ready to come out onto the road, it vanished. It vanished. That is a true story. And then all the rest of that weird stuff happened that same night, and that was the night when those people that I got on video that abandoned their camp that night and took off and left everything behind, that was the day that happened. So that black thing that was running through the woods, low profile, no bigger than a dog, a full-size dog, like a lab or a pit bull, you know, that size dog. And as it got to the edge of the woods running as fast, it should have just bolted right out onto the road, come crashing right through. But it just was running, breaking sticks, snapping sticks, making all kinds of stuff in the undergrowth, moving from it, going through it, and then it just was gone. Just gone. So what I did is I went through the little bit of woods there was right there on the edge of that bank to get down onto the dirt road. I went right down through onto the dirt road, and I looked straight down the hill, Harris Hill, looking all the way down through that whole dirt road opening that goes right through the forest, and I saw nothing running down the road. There was nothing there. This thing that come running up through the forest towards my camp at an angle, coming uphill, running full speed, just disappeared. So I didn't get a good enough look at it to know if indeed, in fact, it was a dog. I don't know. I could not confirm it. I do know it was jet black, solid black. It was not a bear, definitely not a bear. And it was running as fast as it could, and then it disappeared. So I don't know, you guys. Weird stuff happens up at Pineapple Junction. I've had some weird things happen at Tracy Ridge and other places that I've hiked, like down at the Chautauqua Gorge. When I hiked down there, that's when I had met up with that scent on the trail that was nauseating, and the woods went totally silent, and my gut told me, get the hell out of here, get the hell out of here. And something just, it was like a flight response. Something just said, leave the area. And I did. I didn't mess around. You can see where the deer have been out here scratching with their hoofs. Actually, it could be coyote too, because there's coyote paw. There's both. There's deer and coyote back here. So one of them's been scratching there. Haven't seen much in tracks out back here. Mostly rabbit, deer, coyote, and fox. And that's about it. So anyway, guys, I made this video a little bit too long, but let me know what you guys think down below. I located some lights for my van. I got some KC LED, very well made aluminum housing exterior rack lights, what are called side view lights, for my van that I'm going to be installing on it this year. So I got bright lights to turn on from inside the van to illuminate my campground all the way around the van, real bright. And I'm going to be looking into getting some outdoor infrared cameras to record at nighttime that has night vision. I need something that's going to be able to pick up stuff, you guys. So if you guys know of any good quality night vision cameras, something that's, you know, the trail cameras are okay, but I'm kind of looking for like a camera that's designed for just what I want to do with it. And that is for trying to capture something on video as well as audio. And I may even get an audio device. I don't know. But yeah, it just, it makes you wonder, you know, what's out there. And that's why I want to do some investigating. But I know I'll definitely get something up there at Pineapple Junction, because that place, there's something not right with that place. Let me put it this way, it's a place that when you go camping there, or whatever you're doing there, if you're hiking or horseback riding, it's a place where you want to be alert and pay attention to your surroundings at all times, day and night. You want to pay attention up there. So anyway, you guys, let me know your thoughts down below, what you think is going on with these 411 cases. What do you think is doing it? And just let me know your thoughts down below. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. I'll be having more outdoor videos coming. I'm going to be testing my my Kershaw knife, and I'll also be testing that bottle bag. And there's lots of things that I'm going to be testing. The Mora knife. I have a giveaway coming up soon. And there's just going to be more content, you guys. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys again in another one. Bye-bye.